My friends, many of us start strong. We begin with passion, with vision, with determination. We say, "This time, I will not give up." We make promises to ourselves, to God, to our dreams. But somewhere along the way, that fire begins to fade. The same heart that burned with excitement now feels cold, heavy, and tired. And we ask ourselves, why can't I stay consistent? Why do I always stop halfway? Today, I want to tell you something powerful. The problem is not your dream, not your discipline, not even your times. The real reason you can't stay consistent is deeper. It's spiritual, it's emotional, it's hidden inside your mindset. You see, consistency is not built on motivation, it's built on revelation. When your vision comes from within, when your spirit catches fire with purpose, no obstacle can stop you. So today, let's go deep together. Let's uncover the real reason you've been trapped in the cycle of starting and stopping. And let's break it once and for all. Vision without inner conviction fades with time. Many people begin their journey with a clear picture of what they want. They imagine success, freedom, peace, and purpose. They create vision boards, write goals, and tell themselves that this time it will be different. But the truth is, a vision that only lives in the mind will eventually lose its power. It becomes blurry when life gets hard. It fades when people don't support you. It disappears when challenges come. Because a vision without conviction has no roots. And what has no roots cannot survive the storm. Conviction is the fire inside the vision. It's the deep inner belief that this is not just something you want to do. It's something you must do. It's when your dream becomes a calling, not just a desire. Many people know what they want, but few know why they want it. And that why is what keeps you moving when motivation is gone. Conviction turns vision into commitment. It transforms a simple dream into a life mission. When your vision is built on external excitement, it depends on circumstances. It depends on how you feel, on who supports you, on whether things go your way. But when your vision is built on conviction, it doesn't matter what's happening outside, because the strength comes from within. It's like a flame that keeps burning even in the rain. You don't need others to believe in you, because you already know that what you carry is real. Conviction makes you unstoppable. It gives you endurance when your body is tired, clarity when your mind is confused, and hope when your heart is broken. Most people lose consistency because they never move their vision from their head to their heart. They think if they can just get more motivated, they'll stay consistent. But motivation is like a spark. It lights you up for a moment, then disappears. Conviction is like a furnace. It keeps you burning continuously. You can't rely on emotion to stay consistent. Emotion changes every day. Conviction is not about feeling ready. It's about deciding to stay ready. It's the spiritual strength that pushes you forward when logic says to stop. When you have inner conviction, failure doesn't destroy you. It shapes you. You see setbacks not as signs to quit, but as lessons to grow. You stop asking, "Is this possible?" and start declaring, "This must happen." Conviction doesn't wait for perfect timing, it creates it. It doesn't wait for opportunity, it becomes opportunity. It doesn't fear opposition, it uses it as fuel. That's why people with conviction move differently. They walk with quiet confidence, not because everything is easy, but because they know who sent them and why they started. Your vision needs to be tested, because that's how conviction is proven. Every time you face delay, disappointment, or doubt, it's not to break you. It's to purify your belief. If your vision can survive difficulty, it's real. If it dies in pressure, it was never conviction, it was convenience. Real conviction is born in pain, in waiting, in silence. It's in those seasons when nothing seems to move, but something inside you says, keep going. That voice is your conviction speaking. That's your soul refusing to give up. So before you ask how to stay consistent, ask yourself why you started in the first place. If your reason is shallow, your consistency will be short. But if your reason is rooted in purpose, you'll keep moving even when it hurts. Conviction gives your vision life. It transforms what you believe into what you become. A person with vision can see the future. A person with conviction can walk into it. And when vision and conviction unite, consistency becomes natural. It's no longer a struggle to keep going, because you're no longer chasing something, you're living it. Discipline fails when purpose is unclear. You can build routines, set alarms, write schedules, and follow plans, but without a clear purpose, every effort eventually feels empty. Many people think discipline is about forcing yourself to do what you don't want to do. But true discipline is not born from pressure, it's born from purpose. When you don't know why you're doing something, it becomes a burden. You push for a while, but the energy fades and the heart grows tired. Purpose is what gives discipline life. It gives meaning to repetition, strength to sacrifice, and reason to continue when it would be easier to stop. People often admire the disciplined ones, those who wake up early, train hard, or study for hours. But what they don't see is that behind that consistency lies a deep sense of purpose. They aren't just doing tasks, they're fulfilling something meaningful. When your why is powerful enough, discipline becomes natural. You no longer need to fight yourself to act, your purpose pulls you forward. The reason most people can't stay consistent isn't because they lack willpower. It's because they lack clarity. They are moving without direction, working without vision, living without a deep connection to the outcome they desire. Without purpose, discipline feels like punishment. You start seeing effort as suffering, not as growth. Every morning feels heavier, every step slower. But when your heart is connected to what you do, the same routine becomes sacred. You begin to love the process because you understand its meaning. A musician who practices for hours doesn't see it as struggle. They see it as expression. A builder doesn't see bricklaying as repetition. They see the dream of a finished house. The difference between exhaustion and inspiration is purpose. It transforms the ordinary into something divine. When your purpose is unclear, you begin to depend on external motivation. You wait for someone to push you, for the right mood or the right time. But when your purpose is clear, you don't need a reminder. Your spirit reminds you every day. Purpose gives your discipline direction. It makes you focused when distractions come and patient when progress feels slow. The stronger your purpose, the steadier your discipline. The weaker your purpose, the quicker your discipline collapses. It's not about how strong your habits are. It's about how deep your meaning goes. Sometimes, life will test you by hiding the results. You'll keep showing up, but nothing will seem to change. That's when people without purpose walk away. They think their effort is wasted. But those with purpose understand that unseen progress is still progress. Purpose gives you the faith to stay consistent, even when no one claps, even when you don't see immediate rewards. It's the invisible power behind endurance. You can't build long-term consistency on temporary feelings. You build it on eternal meaning. Discipline without purpose also creates inner conflict. You might achieve things but still feel empty. You'll reach goals that don't satisfy because they were never aligned with what truly matters to you. That's why some people reach success and still feel lost. They were disciplined, but for the wrong reasons. When your discipline flows from your purpose, it gives peace. You don't feel trapped by your goals. You feel fulfilled by them. Each step becomes an act of devotion, not obligation. You stop measuring success by results and start measuring it by faithfulness. Purpose is what allows you to say no to what doesn't matter and yes to what does. It creates alignment between your actions and your soul. When you know your purpose, discipline no longer feels like restriction. It feels like freedom. You're no longer distracted by every opportunity because you know which one is yours. You stop comparing yourself to others because your purpose defines your pace. You stop giving up halfway because you understand what you're working for. If you look at those who remain consistent through the hardest seasons, they all have one thing in common: clarity of purpose. They know what their pain is producing. They understand that the delay, the repetition, the silence, it all has meaning. Without that understanding, the weight of consistency becomes unbearable. But with purpose, even the heaviest load feels lighter. It's not the task that drains you. It's the absence of meaning that does. Once you reconnect with your why, your discipline gains power again. So when discipline begins to fail, don't question your strength, question your purpose. The moment you rediscover why you started, energy begins to return. Passion reignites, focus sharpens, and effort feels sacred again. Discipline without purpose is just endurance. Discipline with purpose becomes destiny. Emotional strength comes from spiritual alignment. Many people try to build emotional stability through habits, mindset tricks, or motivational words, but those things can only carry you so far. When your emotions are not rooted in something deeper, they easily shift with circumstances. One bad day, one hurtful comment, or one disappointment can destroy your peace. Emotional strength is not about suppressing feelings or pretending everything is fine. It's about being anchored in something greater than yourself. It's about having a spirit that stays calm, even when the storm outside is violent. When your spirit is aligned with truth, your emotions find balance. You stop being a prisoner of every passing feeling because your heart begins to rest in something constant. The world teaches you to control your emotions through discipline, but real peace comes when your inner life is connected to divine purpose. You can't control every emotion that enters your heart, but you can control what you're rooted in. When you're spiritually aligned, fear loses its voice, anxiety loses its power, and anger loses its grip. You become grounded, not because life is easy, but because your soul has found its foundation. People often chase emotional stability without realizing that emotions are a reflection of alignment. When your values, beliefs, and actions are not in harmony, your emotions become chaotic. You feel torn between what you know and what you do, between what you desire and what you believe. This inner conflict drains you. But when your life aligns with truth, peace naturally follows. Emotional strength isn't built by resisting pain, it's built by understanding it. It's knowing that even pain has a purpose, that even tears can water your growth. Spiritual alignment gives meaning to what you feel. It reminds you that emotions are not enemies, they are signals. They tell you where your heart stands and where your faith is being tested. Without spiritual grounding, emotions control you. With spiritual grounding, you control your response. When you align your spirit with higher truth, with faith, with gratitude, with surrender, your emotions begin to obey peace instead of chaos. You can face rejection and still remain kind. You can experience failure and still remain hopeful. You can walk through uncertainty and still remain calm. That is real emotional strength. In life, people often try to fix emotional pain externally. They change their environment, relationships, or goals, thinking that peace will come from outside. But emotional stability doesn't come from changing your surroundings. It comes from transforming your center. If your spirit is aligned with truth, you can stand in the same storm that breaks others and still find stillness. The storm doesn't determine your strength. Your alignment does. Just like a tree stands firm because its roots go deep, your emotions become steady when your spirit is deeply connected to something eternal. Spiritual alignment also teaches you to let go of control. Many emotional battles come from trying to fix what is not in your hands. You worry, you stress, you fight against reality, and it drains your strength. But when your spirit is aligned, you learn to trust timing. You begin to rest in the process instead of resisting it. You start to understand that peace is not found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of faith. This faith doesn't remove the storm. It gives you the strength to walk through it. Emotional strength is not about being unshaken, it's about being rooted. You can still feel pain, disappointment, or fear, but they no longer define you. When your emotions rise, your spirit reminds you of the truth. It whispers, "You are not what you feel right now, you are what you believe." That reminder creates space between your emotions and your identity. You begin to see emotions as waves. They come, they go, but you remain grounded beneath them. When you live from spiritual alignment, you stop reacting and start responding. You don't allow your emotions to dictate your words or actions. You respond from wisdom, not impulse. You listen before you speak, reflect before you decide, and pray before you act. This gives you a quiet confidence that nothing external can destroy. People who live this way have a peace that feels unexplainable to others because it's not built on logic, it's built on faith. Spiritual alignment brings emotional clarity. It helps you separate temporary feelings from lasting truth. It reminds you that your emotions are real, but they are not always right. When your emotions scream that you are weak, your spirit whispers that you are growing. When your emotions tell you to quit, your spirit reminds you of your purpose. This balance gives birth to emotional maturity, the ability to feel deeply yet still stand firmly. Emotional strength doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you've learned where to stand when you do. ChatGPT said, "You can't stay consistent with a divided heart." Many people struggle with consistency because their focus, energy, and intentions are scattered in too many directions. They want success, but they also want comfort. They desire growth, but they cling to old habits. They long for change, but they resist letting go of what is familiar. A divided heart cannot sustain momentum because it fights against itself. Every step forward is countered by hesitation, doubt, or distraction. True consistency requires unity of purpose, alignment of values, and clarity of intention. When your heart is divided, no amount of motivation, discipline, or strategy can keep you moving forward for long. A divided heart often manifests as conflicting desires. One part of you wants to work toward your goals, while another part wants to stay in your comfort zone. You may say, "I want to achieve this dream," but your daily actions say, "I'll wait for the easier path." This inner conflict slows progress and drains energy. You cannot pursue two opposing directions simultaneously without paying a cost. The mind may rationalize excuses, the body may procrastinate, and the heart may grow weary. Consistency requires a single-minded devotion to purpose. You cannot chase multiple visions at once without losing your strength, focus, and clarity. People with divided hearts are often influenced by external expectations. They try to please everyone, family, friends, society, while also chasing their own dreams. This creates tension and indecision. Their attention is pulled in many directions, and their energy is diluted. They may start strong, but over time, they grow fatigued, frustrated, and confused. Consistency demands that your heart belongs fully to the vision you are pursuing. It is not about ignoring others, but about prioritizing your calling so that your actions are not fragmented. When your heart is fully committed, distractions lose their power and your steps gain purpose. Fear is another reason the heart divides. Many people secretly fear failure, rejection, or change. They want to move forward, but fear holds part of their heart back. They take partial steps, hesitate at critical moments, or retreat when pressure comes. A divided heart cannot sustain progress because one half is always resisting the journey. True consistency comes when you confront fear, surrender uncertainty, and anchor yourself in a higher purpose. When your heart is whole, you act decisively, move confidently, and persevere even in difficulties. Divided hearts are often reflected in inconsistent habits. You may intend to act daily, but part of your heart procrastinates. You may set goals, but part of your heart doubts. You may start projects, but part of your heart abandons them when results are slow. This internal split undermines effort, making it nearly impossible to maintain momentum. To stay consistent, you must unify your heart with your purpose. Your mind, emotions, and actions must align. Every decision, every routine, and every thought must support the vision you are committed to. Spiritual clarity is crucial to uniting a divided heart. When your values, beliefs, and intentions are aligned with truth, the heart finds direction. You no longer waver between what is easy and what is right, what is safe and what is necessary, what is temporary and what is eternal. Your heart becomes steadfast because it knows where it belongs. This alignment provides the fuel for consistency, giving you strength to rise early, persist through challenges, and maintain focus even when the path is long and difficult. The divided heart often shows up as impatience and frustration. When part of you wants immediate results while another part understands that growth takes time, tension arises. You may give up too soon or work too inconsistently. A whole heart understands the rhythm of progress. It embraces the process, trusts the timing, and remains committed even when the results are invisible. Consistency is not about bursts of effort. It is about continuous alignment between your heart, purpose, and actions. Relationships and influences can also divide the heart. Surrounding yourself with people who undermine your purpose, distract you, or impose doubt can create internal conflict. The heart listens to every voice, weighing advice, criticism, and opinion. If your core purpose is not deeply rooted, external voices can fragment your focus. A consistent life requires protecting your heart and guarding your vision, ensuring that your devotion remains undivided, your energy concentrated, and your steps intentional. Finally, a divided heart leads to compromise. You settle for less than your potential, skip important steps, or abandon dreams prematurely. Your energy is never fully invested, and your momentum falters. Consistency comes from whole-hearted commitment. When your heart is united, fear, doubt, distraction, and conflict lose their grip. You act with determination, persevere through obstacles, and continue even when the world questions your choices. A heart fully committed creates a life of unwavering consistency, because every thought, feeling, and action works together toward the vision you are destined to fulfill. True consistency is birthed from daily surrender, not sheer willpower. Many people think that staying consistent is about forcing themselves to act, pushing harder when motivation fades, and relying on mental toughness to maintain progress. They set schedules, track habits, and try to discipline themselves into unwavering action. But the truth is, willpower alone can only carry you so far. It is temporary, fragile, and easily depleted. The kind of consistency that changes lives is not built on human effort alone. It is built on surrender, a daily, conscious decision to align yourself with a higher purpose, a greater vision, and a guiding truth that transcends circumstance. Daily surrender means releasing the illusion that you can control everything on your own. It is the acknowledgement that life has challenges beyond your control, and yet You choose to keep moving forward with trust and faith. People who rely solely on willpower often burn out because they fight against resistance instead of flowing with purpose. They push when tired, strive when confused, and battle when disheartened, all while their spirit grows weary. Surrender does not mean passivity. It means choosing to act in alignment with your purpose while allowing higher guidance to direct your path. This shift transforms struggle into strength and fatigue into endurance. Consistency born from surrender is anchored in clarity and trust. When you surrender daily, you remove the friction of doubt and indecision. You no longer question whether to act or wait. Your choices flow naturally from your alignment with purpose. Willpower alone may make you show up, but surrender makes you show up with joy, focus, and determination. It creates a rhythm in life where effort is no longer forced but flows from a deeper commitment. Surrender teaches patience, humility, and perseverance, all of which are essential for sustaining long-term consistency. One of the reasons people fail to maintain consistency is that they focus on outcomes rather than the process. They measure success by immediate results and become discouraged when progress is slow. Willpower can motivate a few days of action, but it cannot carry you through seasons of waiting, setbacks, or silent growth. Daily surrender shifts the focus from results to alignment. It reminds you that your role is to remain faithful, to show up, to act in integrity, and to trust that the results will follow in their perfect timing. Consistency becomes a natural consequence of surrendering to the process, rather than a burden of chasing outcomes. Surrender also cultivates resilience. Life inevitably brings obstacles, failures, rejections, distractions, and disappointments. Those who rely on willpower alone often falter when challenges arise because they are fighting the tide without a deeper source of strength. But those who surrender daily draw from a reservoir of inner peace, faith, and purpose that cannot be shaken. They learn to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing direction, and to persist without losing heart. This resilience transforms setbacks into lessons and trials into opportunities for growth, making consistency sustainable even in the most difficult seasons. Daily surrender creates alignment between thought, word, and action. When you surrender, your choices reflect your values and vision. You no longer act out of fear, obligation, or fleeting emotion. Your actions flow from intention. Each small act compounds over time, producing momentum that willpower alone cannot generate. The mundane decisions, the small habits, the repeated routines, the daily commitments become the building blocks of extraordinary results because they are executed in harmony with a purpose greater than self. Another powerful aspect of surrender is the freedom it provides. Willpower-based effort feels heavy and restrictive because it relies on constant self-control. Surrender, on the other hand, releases the pressure to perform or achieve. By trusting in alignment, you act not out of strain but out of devotion. You show up not because you must, but because you are drawn by a sense of calling and conviction. This freedom creates joy in the journey, and joy is one of the greatest fuels for long-term consistency. When you enjoy the process, discipline becomes effortless, and momentum sustains itself, surrender also guards against distraction and temptation. When your heart and spirit are aligned with a higher purpose, the pull of trivial or harmful distractions weakens. You do not waste energy on what does not serve your vision, because your focus is already anchored. Daily surrender is a practice of continual realignment, checking in with yourself, your purpose, and your priorities, ensuring that every action, thought, and decision supports the path you are committed to. This repeated realignment is what makes consistency possible over months, years, and a lifetime. Ultimately, true consistency is not a product of stubborn effort or mental toughness. It is the result of a surrendered life. Those who surrender daily build a foundation that is unshakable because their strength comes from alignment, not exhaustion. Their commitment is steady because it flows from conviction, faith, and purpose. They persist because their vision is alive in their hearts, guiding them through resistance, fatigue, and doubt. Each day of surrender compounds into a life of unstoppable momentum, proving that the secret to consistency is not doing more, but surrendering more. When faith becomes your fuel, consistency becomes your nature. Many people try to rely on motivation, discipline, or sheer willpower to stay consistent, but these methods are temporary and fragile. Motivation fluctuates with emotion, discipline weakens under pressure, and willpower fades when obstacles grow heavy. True consistency is not built on human strength alone. It is built on faith, an unwavering belief in what cannot yet be seen, but is certain in your heart. When faith drives your actions, consistency is no longer a struggle. It becomes a natural expression of who you are and what you are called to do. Faith fuels consistency because it gives you a reason to continue when results are invisible. The world measures progress by what is seen, immediate, and measurable. Faith measures by what is promised, unseen, and eternal. Those who rely on faith understand that every small action matters, even if the outcome is delayed. They work with patience, trusting that persistence rooted in belief will produce results in due season. Consistency grows when your eyes are fixed on what is eternal, not what is temporary. Faith transforms routine into devotion, labor into worship, and waiting into a period of preparation rather than despair. Without faith, consistency is brittle. People can maintain habits for a time, but when challenges arise, they falter. Setbacks shake confidence, criticism erodes courage, and doubt clouds clarity. Those who lack faith depend entirely on circumstances to sustain their momentum. When the road becomes difficult, the energy to continue disappears. Faith, however, provides a foundation that cannot be moved by external conditions. It anchors your heart, strengthens your resolve, and reminds you of your purpose. With faith as your fuel, obstacles become tests of endurance rather than reasons to quit. Faith also aligns your actions with a higher purpose, God's. When you believe in something greater than yourself, consistency is no longer about self-interest or temporary rewards. Each action becomes meaningful because it is part of a larger plan, a higher calling, or a divine assignment. This alignment transforms work into worship, effort into obedience, and discipline into devotion. You no longer act merely to achieve personal goals. You act because your faith compels you to fulfill what you are destined for. When your actions are fueled by belief, consistency is effortless because you are no longer chasing outcomes, but living your purpose. Another reason faith fuels consistency is that it provides hope during trials. Life inevitably brings difficulties, delays, and disappointments. Those without faith see these challenges as barriers, reasons to quit, or proof that their efforts are futile. Those with faith see them as opportunities, tests, and stepping stones. Faith sustains momentum because it focuses on the ultimate vision rather than temporary setbacks. It allows you to persist when results are not immediate, to continue when energy is low, and to act with courage when fear whispers to stop. Faith also strengthens your inner conviction. It transforms belief into action, turning what is seen in your heart into behavior in your life. People often know what they want but struggle to do what is necessary to achieve it. Faith bridges that gap by providing the unseen force that motivates you to act consistently even when logic, emotion, or circumstances suggest otherwise. With faith, you rise early, push through fatigue, and keep showing up because you trust that your actions are not in vain. Each step taken in faith compounds over time, creating momentum that becomes unstoppable. Consistency fueled by faith also inspires resilience. Life is filled with moments that test your patience, endurance, and commitment. Those who rely on human strength alone crumble under pressure. Faith allows you to endure because it gives you perspective. You understand that challenges are temporary, setbacks are lessons, and persistence is part of a greater plan. Faith transforms struggle into growth and obstacles into opportunities. It ensures that consistency is not just maintained in easy seasons, but strengthened in difficult ones, becoming a hallmark of character rather than circumstance. Furthermore, faith creates focus. When you believe in a higher purpose, your attention naturally prioritizes what matters most. You are less distracted by trivial pursuits, fleeting desires, or external pressures. Each day, your actions align with your convictions, producing consistent behavior that builds momentum. Faith clarifies your vision, sharpens your decision-making, and directs your energy toward meaningful goals. With faith guiding your steps, consistency is not accidental, it becomes intentional, deliberate, and unstoppable. Faith also cultivates patience, which is essential for long-term consistency. Results do not always appear immediately. Without patience, people give up too soon, abandon their efforts, or lose hope when progress seems slow. Faith teaches you to trust the process, to continue faithfully, and to act persistently even when the outcome is unseen. It reminds you that what is sown in perseverance will be harvested in time. Each day of faithful action compounds into extraordinary results because consistency is nurtured by belief, not by fleeting emotion or temporary drive. Ultimately, when faith becomes your fuel, consistency becomes natural. You no longer depend on motivation that fades or discipline that tires. You rely on a deep, unwavering belief that guides your actions, strengthens your resolve, and sustains your journey. Faith transforms routine into devotion, obstacles into opportunities, and persistence into a lifestyle. With faith at the center of your life, Consistency is not something you struggle to maintain. It becomes the natural expression of your character, purpose, and destiny.